60 Minutes Special, The Metasphere, A World Beyond Reality. The camera sweeps across Neo-Tokyo's skyline as night falls, the city's buildings flickering with breach glass overlays. The neon shimmer of digital constructs blends into the physical world, weaving seamlessly through the steel and glass structures of the metropolis. The streets below pulse with life, avatars gliding alongside human pedestrians, some walking as shimmering projections, others indistinguishable from reality. In the distance, spires of light stretch beyond the horizon, forming ghostly outlines of virtual towers visible only to those tuned into the metasphere. A calm yet commanding voice cuts through the ambient hum of the city. Narrator Anderson Cooper AI. In the year 2085, humanity crossed a threshold that reshaped not just technology, but the very fabric of existence. What began as simple escapism evolved into something far greater, a second layer of reality draped over our own. By 2125, the world you live in, the streets you walk, are no longer entirely your own. This is the Metasphere. The scene narrows to street level. A bustling market hums with activity, but half the vendors seem out of place, their features flickering softly, as if they were reflections in rippling water. Pedestrians pass by, some wearing neural sync headgear, others visibly absent from the physical world, existing only as digital echoes projected alongside the living. A man gestures to buy fruit from a stall. The vendor's avatar nods in return, though his physical form is nowhere in sight. Narrator Cooper AI. Imagine walking through your neighborhood but with a twist. Half the people you pass are no longer physically present. Their bodies may be in another city, another country, perhaps lying dormant in pods or reclined on sofas, yet here they are. Avatars, seamlessly integrated with your world existing within the same moment. The market dissolves, replaced by a sweeping glass plaza. A woman stands near the edge, illuminated by floating data screens and breech glass panels. The skyline behind her flickers with impossible architecture, shapes warping as distant towers rise and fall like waves. Ren VR designer. The first time I jacked in, it was overwhelming. I could taste the static, feel the hum in my teeth. It's not like traditional VR from the early 21st century. This wasn't goggles and gloves, it was everything. The alley where I stood? Gone. In its place, towers of glass stretched beyond the sky. I looked at my hands, translucent, covered in streams of data. It was beautiful but disorienting. The scene shifts again, slowly dissolving into archival footage from 2095. In sterile medical suites, patients lie in reclined chairs as neural implants are delicately inserted at the base of their skulls. Doctors monitor screens, watching brainwave patterns shift as connections solidify. A patient's eyes snap open, glowing faintly blue. Narrator Cooper AI. By 2095, neural implants were no longer experimental. They became as common as cell phones once were. And while some users engaged lightly with the Metasphere, others took it further. A high-rise apartment appears, sunlight streaming through glass windows that flicker with projected ads and notifications. Eric, a Metasphere native, lounges in a floating armchair. His form glitches briefly as he adjusts the projection around him, dismissing notifications with the flick of his fingers. The skyline outside his window looks brighter, augmented by layers of digital constructs. Eric, Metasphere native. My body? I hardly think about it. It's home, sure, but I live here now. He gestures around his apartment, but the furniture shifts mid-motion, transforming into a sleek, futuristic loft. It's not escape, it's evolution. I walk these streets, I eat here. I talk to people who haven't been in the flesh for years. It's life, just different. Narrator Cooper AI. But with advancement came cost. The sunlit loft fades, replaced by corrupted grids of data. The wastes, vast zones of failed constructs and broken pathways, stretch across the screen. Glitched figures drift aimlessly, fragments of avatars lost to digital entropy. The air feels heavier here, even through the screen. Narrator Cooper AI. The Metasphere isn't all pristine towers and luxury markets. Beyond the city grids, you'll find the wastes, fragments of corrupted data, entire districts that failed to stabilize. It's here. The line between reality and fiction blurs most dangerously. In a flickering alleyway, Maya, a scavenger, kneels near a rusted breech glass panel, half buried in debris. Her avatar glitches, momentarily losing its outline. The dim alley around her vibrates faintly with the sound of corrupted code. Maya wastes explorer. I was just passing through, scavenging old data cores. Then I saw him, Ramses. I don't even know if it was really him, could have been one of his fragments, but it felt real. He just watched me. Didn't move, didn't speak. When he vanished, he left this. Her hand trails over a faint golden imprint burned into the breech glass beneath her. Narrator, Cooper AI. Ramses II, the first digital warlord. His consciousness fragmented across networks, evolving into something more than human. By 2125, he wasn't just part of the Metasphere. Many believe he is the Metasphere. A second voice, richer and slightly older, cuts in. Narrator, Ed Bradley AI, and that belief has changed everything. We spoke to Isa Nakamura, a Metasphere security architect tasked with safeguarding public sectors of the virtual plane. We also met Dr. Felix Corbin, a neural augmentation specialist who warns that the next evolution of the Metasphere could challenge the boundaries of human identity itself. Isa stands before an expansive virtual projection of Neo Tokyo's transit system. Dr. Corbin appears in his lab, displaying neural schematics as the interview continues. Bradley AI editor. This isn't just technology anymore, it's life. And the deeper we dive, the harder it is to return. The hum of data streams fades as the skyline of Neo Tokyo stretches far into the distance. 60-minute special continued into the underbelly of the Metasphere. The scene shifts. The polished skyscrapers of Neo Tokyo dissolve into the tangled sprawl of the Undermarket, a chaotic sector hidden beneath layers of corrupted data streams. Neon strobes flash sporadically along digital alleys, illuminating dark corners where avatars gather in clusters. This is the side of the Metasphere rarely broadcasted, the place where mods, data fixes, and black market identities are bought and sold. Narrator, Anderson Cooper AI. Beyond the corporate shine of the Metasphere lies an ecosystem built on anonymity, risk, and rebellion. In the shadows of these digital streets, anything can be altered, for a price. A figure steps forward, her avatar sleek and draped in digital leather, eyes hidden behind breech glass lenses that glow faintly in the low light. This is Nyx, a netrunner and fixer deeply embedded in the resistance movement against corporate control of the Metasphere. Nyx, Resistance Netrunner, welcome to the Undermarket. If you're here, it means you need something you can't get up there. She tilts her head toward the flickering projection of Neo Tokyo's corporate skyline far above. Down here, we write our own rules. Nyx gestures toward a sprawling grid of breech glass terminals lining the alley. Users sit in quiet focus, avatars immersed in illegal transactions and data trades. A man with an augmented arm leans over a breech glass slab, whispering commands as holographic blueprints of cybernetic implants scroll past. Narrator Cooper AI. The Undermarket is the beating heart of unregulated data, where identity modifications and illicit constructs are currency. Modding, once a subculture, has evolved into an entire underground industry. Nyx steps to one of the vendors, waving her hand across a breech glass panel. A menu flickers into existence, offering neural enhancements, sensory expansion mods, and full personality rescripting. The last option catches the attention of Ed Bradley, who appears beside Anderson Cooper's digital projection. Narrator, Ed Bradley AI. Full personality rescripting? This goes beyond cosmetic avatar changes. We're talking about rewriting who you are. Nyx gives a half smile, sharp and knowing. Nyx, Resistance Netrunner. Identities flexible in the Metasphere. Sometimes, who you were isn't who you need to be. A new face, a new voice, a new life. But there's always a catch. As Nyx speaks, a hooded figure further down the alley glitches momentarily, his form fragmenting and reforming. The glitch spreads for a moment before stabilizing. Narrator Cooper AI. We later learned that the glitch wasn't a malfunction, it was intentional. Some users mod themselves so extensively that their avatars barely resemble their original forms. But sometimes, those changes carry unforeseen consequences. The camera follows Nyx deeper into the Undermarket, where a vault-like door flickers into view. She places her hand against it, and the breech glass lock dissolves, granting access to a dimly lit chamber filled with floating hollow screens and data conduits humming faintly. Seated at the center is an older man, his physical body connected to 6 terminals through neural cables. His avatar projects over him, a younger, untouchable version of himself. Narrator Cooper AI. This is Vance, a fixer known for manipulating deep code within the Metasphere. He has operated here for over 20 years. His consciousness split between multiple data streams. Vance Fixer, I stay connected because I have to. You think the corporate layer sees everything? They don't. Not down here. His avatar flickers briefly as if emphasizing the point. We're ghosts, but that doesn't mean we're safe. Narrator Ed Bradley AI. But ghosts can still leave trails. Vance's smile fades as he gestures toward a map of corrupted zones within the Metasphere. Vance Fixer, see this? That's a trail left by a data phantom. Could be one of Ramses' echoes or just a fragment of someone who dug too deep. Either way, it's bad news. The hologram zooms in, showing shadowy figures flickering just beyond the map's edge. Some appear human, others less so. Nyx, Resistance netrunner, Ramses leaves echoes everywhere. But he's not the only one. The scene shifts as Nyx leads the crew through twisting corridors of floating code and fragmented breach-glass streets. Suddenly the space opens into a vast underground market square, avatars packed shoulder to shoulder, voices overlapping in dozens of languages and dialects. Vendors peddle bootleg mods and custom AI companions, while a distant barker shouts about hacking tools that bypass Metasphere safeguards. Narrator Cooper AI. It's chaotic but structured. The Undermarket operates with its own rules and enforcers. Violence rarely spills over, not because of morality, but efficiency. Data crashes cost everyone. In the far corner, a hulking figure monitors the market from an elevated balcony, a glowing breach hammer strapped to his back. His avatar crackles with raw energy. Narrator Ed Bradley AI. That's Brick, the unofficial peacekeeper of this sector. Brick enforces order, but at a price. We're told he works for the highest bidder, whether that's resistance groups or corporate interests. Brick, peacekeeper. I don't ask questions, you pay, I protect. Simple as that. Nyx exchanges a nod with Brick, confirming a silent alliance before guiding the crew toward a corner where encrypted data drives are traded like currency. Nyx, Resistance netrunner. This is where resistance fighters get the tools to survive. You can't trust what's up there, she says, motioning toward the city's digital skyline above. But down here? We've got each other's backs, most of the time. The camera lingers on the endless rows of traders, hinting at stories that may never be fully uncovered. Narrator Cooper AI. Beneath the sleek facade of the Metasphere lies a labyrinth of unregulated code, forgotten identities, and people chasing freedom or perhaps running from it. The deeper we go, the clearer it becomes that the Metasphere reflects not just technology, but the very essence of who we are. Live from Chipan, the Bioshock dive, the final countdown. Stream initiation, system online. Visual, a flood of electric blue ignites the screen, breach glass patterns unfolding like veins across the dark room. The camera snaps into focus, revealing a sleek, hyper-stylized streaming setup. Holographic neon kanji flicker across the walls in rhythmic bursts, syncing with the low pulse of the ambient music, a chillwave remix of early 21 Stone's Century game soundtracks. Beyond the floor-to-ceiling breach glass window, Chipan's skyline simmers in layers. A fusion of ancient temple architecture wrapped in modern VR scaffolding. Chipan, streamer, yo, my people, we are live! Welcome back to the show. Tonight's a big one. Bigger than big, actually. We're about to break ground on something legendary. The screen illuminates with an augmented feed of live chat messages, stacking like code lines in the margins. Fans flood the channel, dropping rows of fire emojis and glitching Bioshock emotes. Chipan, I see you in chat, Light0. Don't worry, I've got your shoutout queued. Listen up, because if you're here, you're part of history. Bioshock servers are set to unlock in. His hand flicks across the breach glass panel at his desk. A secondary window expands, displaying a countdown timer over the faded silhouette of Rapture's iconic lighthouse. Chipan, just under 15 minutes. You know what that means. He leans into the camera, silver streaks catching the neon glow as he flashes a grin. His avatar reflects in the breach glass window, clad in digital leather with shifting fractal seams that ripple like static. Chipan, tonight, we walk with legends. Chipan's VR scene has been foaming at the mouth for this event for weeks, and I know the whole world is tuned in. Look at this, I've got folks from New Paris, Neo LA, and Zion in chat. Yeah, it's that serious. Cut to augmented scenes of Chipan nightlife. Crowded breach glass markets glimmer under floating screens showcasing trailers from classic games, with VR modders selling custom skins and retro mod packs. Narrator Chipan. For those just dropping in from the upper sprawl, here's your orientation. Chipan isn't just leading the retro VR revival, it is the revival. The entire second district rebuilt its entertainment sectors to pay homage to the classics. If you haven't partied in the 8-bit district or fought through one of the survival horror zones in Shibuya's Arena, you haven't lived. A stream of video snippets unfolds. Chipan wandering through arcades where glitching space invaders ripple along the walls, then pacing through a game bar where a projection of The Legend of Zelda hovers above the bar top. Interactive with a swipe. Chipan on stream, but tonight, we're going deeper. Bioshock isn't just a game, it's culture. Art, music, storytelling, it's got it all. And for the first time in over a decade, we're about to jack into Rapture in fully immersive VR. We aren't just playing, we're living it. The chat explodes with excited reactions. Rows of Big Daddy emotes swarm the screen. Chipan, Ha ha, I see y'all. If you don't spam the chat when I hit the first plasmid, I'll be disappointed. Speaking of which, he gestures again, and a breach glass overlay forms over his room, slowly warping the walls into the steel, dripping corridors of Rapture's welcome center. The effect dissipates after a moment, but the tease is enough to whip the audience into a frenzy. Chipan, this is what it's about. The layers, the anticipation. Chipan lives and breathes this retro life. And tonight, we step into the Metasphere's most anticipated throwback dive. Outside the breach glass window, the skyline shifts. Projected holograms stretch high, and a massive BioShock logo unfurls across the city, cascading letters flickering in sync with the countdown. Chipan, 2 minutes left, my friends. This isn't just nostalgia, it's immersion. And when we jack in, I'm taking you all with me. Stream cut. Countdown reaches 0. Suddenly, the screen plunges into blackness. A resonant hum swells in the background as Chipan's avatar is engulfed in static. When the visuals snap back, the first-person perspective of Rapture's descent fills the screen. Water cascades over rusted pipes, flickering signs cast haunting shadows, and distant echoes of splicers linger in the distance. Chipan. In-game whisper, would you kindly, we're home. Dive into Rapture, Chipan's full immersion begins. Visual, a black screen lingers for a few breaths before faint golden light flickers to life. The sensation of descent grips the viewer as the iconic bathysphere lowers into the abyss. Water distorts the view outside, and beyond the glass, the skeletal Art Deco structures of Rapture appear like ruins from a forgotten dream. Chipan. In-game whisper, damn, it hits different in full dive. The live chat overlay reappears at the corners of the breach glass display, viewers spamming wide-eyed emotes and rapid-fire reactions. Chipan in-game. Y'all see that? Look at the texture on those pipes. We're not in flat-screen territory anymore. They rebuilt the whole thing from the ground up, down to the rust. As the bathysphere drifts deeper, Andrew Ryan's familiar monologue echoes faintly from the speakers. Chipan turns slowly, taking in the faded propaganda posters lining the glass walls, the edges curled like old parchment. Andrew Ryan. Recording is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow. Chipan in-game, muffled laugh. Tell him, Andrew, tell him. The bathysphere halts with a metallic clank, docking at the entrance to the welcome center. Chipan steps forward, the subtle vibration beneath his feet mimicking the faint tremor of aged metal. Chipan, in-game alright folks. First steps into Rapture, you better believe I'm about to poke around every damn corner. The welcome center creaks as Chipan moves through, following flickering lights that guide his path. His hand glides over breach glass panels, interactive prompts lighting up in response. Chipan, to chat, you remember this part? First time I played this, I was just a kid. Now look at me, full grown and fully immersed, stepping right back into those same shadows. A distant clatter echoes from deeper inside the structure, and the chat lights up with warnings. Chipan, relax. No splicers yet, we're still in the welcome mat section, but, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like someone's watching. The chat floods with emotes. Chipan, appreciate the heads up, y'all snitches, but I respect it. Chipan stops at a breach glass panel embedded in the wall. A faint glimmer of light trails his touch as he activates the first plasmid station. The stylized image of a hand crackling with lightning appears. Chipan, excited, this is it. We about to zap some fools. Suddenly, a flicker from the far corridor draws his gaze. A silhouette, crooked and twitching, fades just beyond the dim light. Chipan, quiet, hold up. Chat explodes with warnings. Chipan, grinning, y'all are paranoid? I'm going after him. As he steps forward, the walls shift. The faint hum of the Metasphere interface glitches for a breath, as if the game world flickered under strain. Chipan, wait, that's not part of the script. The splicer silhouette lingers longer than expected, almost as if observing him. The breach glass visor picks up static, distorting the world around the figure. Chipan, nervous chuckle, hey, mods, you seeing this? For a moment the stream holds its collective breath. Then the figure vanishes around the corner, leaving only the flickering lights. Chipan, recovering all right. Let's pretend that didn't send a shiver down my spine. We press forward. Chipan grips the virtual plasmid injector and pushes it into his palm. Lightning surges through his arm and the chat explodes with electrified emotes. Chipan, laughing, I swear I can feel that. Full dive haptics are wild. Suddenly, a splicer lunges from the shadows, screaming incoherently as it swings a rusted pipe. Chipan, reflexive shout, oh hell no! Electricity arcs as he raises his hand, unleashing the first shockwave. The splicer convulses and collapses, steam rising from his twitching form. Chipan panting, yeah. First splicer down, let's get it! He steps over the smoldering body, flicking the imaginary smoke from his palm. The chat floods with celebratory messages and virtual tips. Chipan, this is why we play. Splicers can't handle us, we're built different. As Chipan continues deeper into Rapture, faint whispers of splicers echo through the corridors. Somewhere in the distance, the heavy footfalls of a Big Daddy reverberate softly. Chipan, eyes narrowing. Oh, it's time.